Alternative assets are tangible assets that have value due to their substance. And alternative investments play an important part in any investment portfolio by adding diversification benefits, bringing inflation hedge, and providing fairly strong, reliable income return and capital appreciation over time.
Dania Zinurova was recently appointed as Portfolio Manager of WAM Alternative Assets, a listed investment company managed by Wilson Asset Management. Prior to joining WAM, Dania has held senior investment roles across Australia, the US, Europe, and the UK throughout her alternative asset-focused career spanning almost 2 decades. At WAM, she is currently managing a portfolio providing retail investors with exposure to a portfolio of real assets, private equity, and infrastructure. Joining me to discuss more on alternative assets is Dania. Thank you for joining us on TCN TV today.
Hi, great to be here. Thank you.
Can you explain to us a bit more about your investment strategy and your approach to investing in alternative assets?
So I always say that in alternatives, it's very important to have that long-term investment mindset and really start with looking at the macro fundamentals. So what are the current themes with strong tailwinds that can be translated into investment strategies across alternative asset classes? So as an example, we follow 3 megatrends that I identified when I took over the portfolio management role. One is aging population, and it's a very strong theme, not only in Australia, but also globally. Another one is digitalisation of our economy and of our society. And we also last year, this trend really accelerated on the back of COVID-19. And then finally, growing demand for food. And this is very long-term theme on the back of the growing population, both in Australia and globally.
Okay, now, as you mentioned, these 3 mega trends, aging populations, digitalisation, and demand for food. Can you outline how is WAM Alternative Assets tapping into these trends?
Yes, sure. So once this first step is complete, i.e. you identify those new trends, and as I outlined, we follow these 3 trends, alternative assets then becoming very exciting opportunity set because it's very broad and very diverse, i.e. if we take as an example aging population, then we can look across alternative asset classes. We can look at private equity and invest in some of the businesses related to healthcare services. Or we can look at venture capital and find some strategies that would invest in, for example, technologies related to healthcare. We can look at real estate and infrastructure, and in each of this asset class, there will be an investment opportunity to tap into this theme. Now, what's important is to look at those opportunities across asset classes through a relative value lens. As I mentioned, private equity, if we are to pursue private equity or healthcare within the private equity, then we're very likely to find that at this current moment, valuations look quite rich and competition is really high for this type of deals. Venture capital is still fairly emerging in terms of the opportunity set. And then real estate and infrastructure are the ones that are probably with the deeper opportunity set and more volume in terms of the deal. So what I really liked about aging population and attached theme to this as healthcare or increasing demand for healthcare services is that in asset classes like real estate, it's a very interesting market from the market fundamentals perspective. If I compare healthcare real estate to any other traditional sectors, such as office, retail, industrial, I can clearly see that healthcare real estate has very strong fundamentals from the rental income perspective, from the duration of leases. For example, in healthcare real estate, lease term can be 10, 15 years, in some cases even longer, while in offices and industrial, leases tend to be quite short, 3 to 5 years. And at the same time, demand and supply dynamic is very attractive in healthcare real estate. So we still see very limited supply, but continuously strengthening demand for this type of assets. So from the asset class perspective, or from the sector perspective, it's again very attractive investment compared to other asset classes within alternatives. And this is how, I decide, going through those filters, going through relative valuation, then I look at the factors at the market level, I looked at the factors at the sector level, and then make a call based on this due diligence.
Certainly. So if you can outline overall, what are the benefits of alternative assets and why should they be included in a portfolio?
Very important asset class for any investor. One of the reports was referring to alternative investing as essential asset class for the portfolio. So the first one, and I would say one of the main really benefits, is diversification due to low and in some cases negative correlation to more traditional asset classes. Second is inflation hedge, in particular when investing in real estate or infrastructure and some real assets. Third is opportunity to get access to thematic investing. And finally is this access to strong and fairly reliable income returns at the same time with the capital appreciation when holding those assets or investments over a long time.
Finally, what are your goals for WAM Alternative Assets, and what would you like to see for WAM and perhaps the industry in a few years' time?
That's a good question. Something that I think on a daily basis, but at the same time, the question that allows me to have this, big picture for WMA. And really, the plan is to grow the portfolio in size. So once we eliminate current discount to NTA, we are likely to come out and do new capital raising for the portfolio, and in gradual manner grow the portfolio to around 1 billion in size, which will really help us to get scale within the portfolio and to start making meaningful allocations within the portfolio, negotiate better investment terms, better fees, etc. I would also like to see this offering as best in class diversified portfolio of alternative assets that's easily accessible by the broader investor base, by retail investors, moms and dads, because as I said, alternative asset classes, they play such an important role in any investment portfolio. And the current offerings for the retail investors in Australia are quite limited or difficult to get access to without scale. So WMA will really play this role to anyone who wants to add alternative asset classes to their portfolio. And shareholders will benefit from our investment philosophy and from investing in this asset class.
Dania, thank you so much for the update on all things alternative assets, and look forward to following WAM's developments.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching. Now, if you like what you see, please be sure to like and share the video, subscribe to TCN TV, and drop us a comment. Tell us who you would like to see next and what you would like me to ask them, or if you're an investor, send us an email so we can keep you in the loop with the latest ideas to empower.